Hi guys. I'm not really sure what just happened. I started to criticize the Rothschilds and the Federal Reserve, and I got angry, and then my post stopped. So I'm gonna finish where I left off, and that was going to be our discussion of the effects of Clinton and Bush policies. My battery's almost dead on my phone, so I shall go quickly. So NAFTA was during the Clinton administration, and it normalized trade relations with China and exported good manufacturing jobs. So we wonder where our jobs went when you normalize trade relations with an authoritarian regime that abuses its workers. Yes, you can pay them less and you can sell your products cheaper, but the people who had those jobs here making that money to buy your products no longer do. So that's one thing we need to face. The next is that Bush Sr. actually had initiated NAFTA that Clinton followed through on. So Clinton administration was a capitulation to the conservatives without actually representing the Democrats. Yes, he did some good things like the GPS system. Clinton did. But he did a lot of bad too, and I'll continue on. The Clinton crime bill, I believe it was in 94, that increased our racially prejudiced justice system. We now, what is it, like 60% of our prisoner population is African American? I think it's something like that. And we also now have the largest prison population in the world. You know, India and China each have over 1 billion citizens. We only have 333 million, yet we have 20% of the world's population, yet only 5% of, 5% of the world's population, but 20% of its prisoners. Something's wrong here. Not everybody is that criminal. If China is able to, monitor their society and maintain peace without criminalizing everybody, yet we can't, that says something really bad about us as a nation. We demonize Muslims and immigrants and Mexicans, yet we don't. I can't even finish that thought. It makes me sick. I just need to continue so I can hurry up and finish this. So yeah, Bill Clinton's Telecommunication Act of 1996, I believe, it basically cannibalized our news media industry. That's why now we only have 6 news media corporations, whereas in the past we've had 88. You get a lot more diverse and better news when you have more news media than less. He repealed Glass-Steagall. That was legislation from the New Deal. It forced regulations on the banks that said your investment divisions must be separate from your commercial divisions. Both Clintons think that the banks are going to regulate themselves and they don't need regulation. I highly disagree with that. He still repealed Glass-Steagall. They invested in bad mortgages and other things, and we crashed the economy in 2007. It wasn't just out of nowhere. It was from bad legislation, let's be real honest. That's why we need to restore the Glass-Steagall Act. The Dodd-Frank Act is lame. Lame. So, continuing on, during the Bush administration, 9/11 sparked a decade and a half of global warfare based on faulty information of weapons of mass destruction. We've still yet to find them. We are the ones with the weapons of mass destruction. If I recall correctly, it's the US that drops nuclear bombs on people. That's what we do. And we couldn't use the big ones because it would encourage mutually assured annihilation, so now we've created smaller nuclear bombs that we can aim at tactical positions because we're about peace. Evidently. This makes me sick. Also, because of us getting into decades of war and destabilizing other countries, We earned Dick Cheney and his friends at Haliburton billions of dollars. If that's not a conflict of interest with him as VP, I don't know what is. We've created the largest security state ever. Massive surveillance. The NSA not only surveils everything we do, but everything every other country does, because that's what freedom is, evidently. Criminalized dissent. The National Defense Authorization Act that we keep reauthorizing allows your commander-in-chief, at his discretion, or her discretion, should that case hopefully arise soon, they can declare martial law and remain president for 17 years. For, I'm assuming, pretty much whatever justification they want. To me, that doesn't sound like republic or democracy at all. It's oligarchy, just as Jimmy Carter so accurately stated. So, Bush couldn't afford to continue his militarism, and that gave him justification to raid Social Security funds of $2.7 trillion. Now, both Democrats and Republicans will claim that that program is insolvent, though we've all been paying into it for decades now. It's insolvent because our leaders use it as a slush fund and not for what it was intended to be. That's why. Print your money and put the $2.7 trillion back in it and we'll be fine. Thanks. Bush also lowered the taxes on the rich. Trickle-down economics do not work. Maybe they'll piss on us, but most Americans are living in poverty now. We're the land of the fee and the home of the slave now. That's what we've become. So yeah, our country was most successful under progressive taxation like the New Deal. That means that rich people pay more because you reap the benefits of our society, and that's how you became rich. You don't bail on it and say, oh, students can fund their own education through student debt. Oh, you can fund your own roads and I'll just still use them. No! If you're going to be a member of our society, you will fucking contribute to it! So yeah, Bush created and escalated the drone war, and Obama sure has continued it. Because Skynet and Terminator are the optimal way to have a peaceful society. Thanks, Obama. We continue to subsidize fossil fuels, Koch brothers make more and more and more money, and we suppress alternative methods of energy production and say, fuck you! I like the Earth better warmer anyway. I'll just move to the North Pole. And finally, as I've said before, we subsidize failing businesses. We bail out big corporations who long ago should have been dismantled. That includes the 4 big banks, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase. You're too big to exist. So, I don't know. I've said my spill. Yes, I'm angry. You should be too. Thank you for listening to me. Share with your friends if you want. I was serious and sincere this whole time, and if you can't accept that, I'm sorry. So, this is John Michael, my first live video to prove to you I'm not just some anonymous troll hack. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Peace out.